10 years in the future, I almost want to take the best parts of where we are now with society and technology, but have some of the access to the green space that I had, and for my kids to be able to play out. I didn't know what landscape architecture was when I was young. I think a lot of people don't, which is something our industry is trying to promote. So I did geography because I knew I liked the environment, I liked nature. But when you come out with a geography degree, you can't be a geographer, it's not a job. I'd got a lot of experience in play and working with kids just throughout my teenage years. So I did Camp America, which was one of my favourite things, where I went and led a group of 6-8-year-olds every week on different activities. And they'd come from really deprived backgrounds, so you could see how much it meant to them coming out from these quite harsh urban areas to this lovely camp with a forest going through it, it had a river going through it, and the change in their behaviour just through being in nature was amazing. And they're so brave, they're so curious. They really wanted to connect with nature, and it was that they lacked in their everyday life. So when I came back from that, I realised that might be a path for me. We create spaces, we design, we work with play, we work with kids, we work with the environment. Yeah, it really does marry together the things that I wanted to be a geographer for, and then the things that I loved about being a play leader. Probably the most rural project I've worked on is the jumping off point for the Highlands. So you can imagine it's such a rural area. We were so blessed. We had a coastline, we had ancient forests, we had amazing sort of hills. So that project, in essence, was about providing doorstep play, so these little play areas that were really protected, really sheltered, really good for maybe the younger kids. So you could come out and play and be back within a really close time, but also knitting those along a series of green trails that then led out to nature. So typically the teenagers, or even anyone who wants to do some recreation could go out. It's so dense that having the park in the middle provides this amazing sense of relief, and it's a really green, luscious park with this incredible Elephant Springs water feature. So it's using play as almost like an attractor to bring people into the area as well as serve the local community. And both of those really have achieved the same thing, that they've connected with the context, and they've made really lovely play spaces, but also knit themselves into the landscape that was there. It's really interesting at the moment because there's so many movements and so many competing factors for public space. So we have BNG, which all new projects have to have 10% increase on the biodiversity. We have sustainable drainage. We have these big areas that want green space. Almost at the moment, I feel competing against each other. And it's the really successful projects, like where we are in Mayfield now, that use the green space as a multifunctional element, so they can handle drainage, they can provide ecology. For me, they can provide play or playfulness or recreation. It doesn't always have to be formal play, but we start to get those teams together where ecologists work really closely with us, landscape architects, with drainage engineers, with highways engineers, and we make the most of the spaces. I think my vision would be shaped by my youth growing up, and it was really lucky that I lived in a new town, so it was designed around green space and accessibility. So when I was a kid, we could cycle to the local centre without ever hitting a road. We played so much with the green spaces and the play areas, but we played on the roads like 50% of the time. So my worry about where we are now is that we've lost a lot of that, and in the same area where I grew up, there's no kids out on the street. So 10 years in the future, I almost want to take the best parts of where we are now with society and technology, but have some of the access to green space that I had, and for my kids to be able to play out.